Got the right play call. The screen goes for 15. And a first down.
A gain of 15. First down, Cincinnati.
And this is why most teams might decide to take the ball first after the halftime break, because they want to be able to control this middle four. At the end of the first half, you can use your timeout. You can use some strategy to steal an extra possession. If they're able now to go down and come away with points, they'll have a chance to double it up again right after the halftime break.
And they'll get about half of what they needed. It's a pickup of 5 and sets up 2nd and 5.
A bit of a quick hitter here. What you're hoping for, Mike, is that the defense can't react quickly enough because the ball's coming out so hot. But they knew it was coming, and they end up holding them to just a short gain.
Here comes 2nd and 4. They'll look to throw again. Quick throw here is complete. And that's a first down. It will be a gain of 8.
Offensively, landing a lot of body blows on this drive, Mike. Just the ability to steadily march the ball downfield and remain so efficient, both run and pass. As they continue to wear this defense out, they have to find a way to end this drive with points. Anything short of that would be a bit of a letdown.
Try again. It's 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw yet again. That's going to wind up incomplete. Not much time remaining. After one more snap here in this first half. The Bengals will call out the field goal unit. This a 57-yard attempt. That one is good. And the Bengals will break our tie and take a 10-7 lead.
What a methodical drive to close this half out. I mean, let's not forget, Mike, they get the ball after the break as well, so they get back-to-back. They call it doubling up possessions. Last one of the first half, first one of the second half. It's a great opportunity to put some distance between you and the opponent.
And he's going to be taken down. That is going to do it for us in this first half.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Scott Hansen, good to be with you from the Orlando EA Sports Studios with an abridged halftime report. This one shaping up to be a tight one, as evidenced by the scoreboard. Both these teams playing it close to the vest in the first half. What will happen in the second half? Let's find out as we send it back to the stadium and our commentary team, Mike Tirico and Greg Olson.
Both teams trying to find the right formula and come out on top in this tight one as we hit the second half. Now, here comes a return from the 9. He'll work his way across the 25-yard line. The Bengals offense going to have a first crack at it as we begin this third quarter. You know, Greg, as we get the season going, obviously the adjustment to last year's new kickoff rules in place. We talked to a lot of coaches during the year. Folks didn't seem too bothered about letting the other team have the ball at the 30-yard line after a touchback. But the 35-yard line, I don't know, does that feel any different to you?
You know, it does, and I think the part that people don't talk about enough, Mike, is the impact that it's making on going forward on fourth down, not settling for field goals. Because remember, in the old days, if you got stopped inside the 5 or you scored inside the 5, it was all the difference of if I kicked a touchback, they got the ball at the 20. There wasn't that much of a spread, but now all of a sudden, is it in my best interest to settle for a field goal and kick off when I could give you the ball at the 35? Or even if I fail down there tight in the red zone on the 3, you now possess the ball inside your own 5-yard line. So I think that's an element now that's causing offenses to go for more touchdowns, kick less field goals, because the ensuing kickoff is giving my opponent the ball in much more favorable territory.
You know, the other rule that is adjusted are overtimes in the regular season will mirror playoff overtime. Each team getting the ball I'm so happy, Greg, because it just felt so incomplete when a team got to overtime, but then their offense, which may be the best part of the team, never got on the field.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And you hear everyone saying, oh, well, just get a stop. Well, it's that legendary game between Mahomes and Josh Allen where neither team stopped anyone. It was just an offensive touchdown festival. So you won a coin toss and you get the ball. Well, the other team's defense hadn't gotten a stop the whole game. If Josh Allen got the ball first, he probably would have scored on a walk-off. So I love the idea of both teams getting the ball. If a game is good enough to go to overtime, let's finish it. We don't need to be in a rush. There's no curfew. Let's let the guys finish it on the field. A lot more similar to how the regular game goes and not have significantly different game flow come overtime. I think he knew in the back of his head, Mike, he had to get rid of this ball a little sooner than he would have liked. And with that pressure getting there in a hurry, it just ends up being a wasted down.
Third down. They'll set up to throw. This one down the field, but lined up incomplete.
Every so often, Mike, you can see these offenses, and it looks like the passing game gets a little bit too predictable. And as the defense continues to flood the back end of these zones with extra defenders, they're continuing to force this quarterback to not only make some difficult throws, but to put the ball in harm's way.
The Bengals out and ready to punt, as he'll punt it away for the second time. But he cannot get away. Great job down there to hold him to a short return. Browns offense trotting back out for their first involvement of this second half. Greg, you start to think about, okay, who are the teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that have a chance this year? Look, it happens every year. We just have to identify who they are. Who are a couple top of mind for you as we start 2025 here?
As I start in the AFC, I think the Cincinnati Bengals. And you got to think the way their season ended last year, they rattle off 5 wins straight, really on the back of Joe Burrow. We could have made the argument if they're a playoff team that Joe Burrow was the best player in the league. I think he was incredible. Most weeks, Mike, he single-handedly carried that offense. Now, new defensive coordinator in Al Golden coming from the college ranks. Can he just make that defense in Cincinnati average? Because if they just play a little bit better with that high-profile offense, I think they're a team. They might not win the division with Baltimore, but they're going to be close and maybe at least get one of those wild card spots.
Why don't you flip it over? Who are the guys you're watching in the NFC?
I think Dallas is going to find themselves, just the fact that I know the division is difficult. Obviously, Philadelphia remains really strong. Does Washington kind of regress a little bit back now in year 2? They were the high-profile, big splash team of last year. Do they regress to the median? Time will tell. But I think healthy Dallas, healthy Dak, healthy Micah Parsons, like that roster that we saw play last year is not the roster on paper that we expected to see. So I think Dallas has a chance. I think San Francisco always is going to be a team, again, dealt with their own injuries last year with McCaffrey and all the stuff on defense. So I think San Francisco and Dallas are 2 perennial teams we expect to be in the playoff hunt. They missed out last year. I wouldn't be shocked to see them back in it again this year.
Now this time they'll look to throw. The second down throw is incomplete.
Every possession is so critical in these close games. The one thing you can't have here is a turnover. Really nice job making sure that ball is uncatchable, and just line up and snap it again.
And this ball incomplete on third down.
I think he predetermined that third down throw, and even though the coverage was tight, he still tried to fit the ball in there anyway, and it ended up falling incomplete. I think if he goes through his progressions and has a little bit more trust in his protection, I think there's an easier throw to make out there.
The Browns getting their punting team out there, as they'll say no to the long field goal and hope to pin them deep. This one angles out of bounds, and the mark comes inside the 15-yard line. Heading out now, the Cincinnati offense are going to get set to take over once more. Greg, early on, it's always new faces in different places. Off-season movement, what caught your eye?
I think there's so many good ones, right? You talk about Stephon Diggs. He ends up in New England, and Cooper Kupp now. He's moving on to Seattle from the Rams, but I think it's the guy the Rams signed to replace him, Davante Adams. I know he's not the youngest anymore, but watching him play in New York with Aaron Rodgers last year with the Jets, he can still run, he can still make every catch, he can still go up and compete at the high point. I think you put Davante Adams with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, in that offense run by Sean McVay. I think that's a sneaky, maybe not a sneaky because he's a really household name, but I think that's a great signing by the Rams.
And always interesting from the offseason, the quarterback movement and unique ties. Some of the biggest names were or now are Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, now the guy that is going to line up behind center for Seattle, Mike, is Sam Darnold. And, of course, we all saw that incredible season he had last year in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and that really dynamic Vikings offense. So now he goes to Seattle. I think he's going to have an inspired Cooper Kupp. He was let go from the Rams. If he's healthy, he's a big weapon. Jackson Smith and Jigba. He has some pieces in that puzzle that he can push the ball downfield to. So I'm excited to see Sam. That's what everyone thought he was going to be coming out of college when he was a high draft pick of the New York Jets.
Little short pass here, caught by his tight end. And they'll pick up the first down, a gain of about 4.
Just a simple hitch route. Certainly nothing special there or anything downfield, but the idea is the more of those you throw and those efficient passes, the second the defense moves up to take it away, that's when you go for the big ones.
Going back in the backfield. He'll get the carry here. Not much to speak of on that one. Maybe a gain of a yard. It's second down.
A gain of 2 brings up second and 8.
We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL